You'll recognise this as Tubular Bells. Well, we're going to talk to you about Tubular Fells. And if you don't know what I'm on about, let me explain. Well, a map of the Lakeland Fells, designed to look a bit like the famous London Underground map, has raised thousands of pounds for a charity appeal which is aimed at conserving the mountains. Now, the map's called Tubular Fells, as I mentioned, designed by Peter Burgess, who's donating some of its takings to the National Trust's Fix the Fells appeal. Hello to you, Peter. Thanks very much for joining us. Can I ask you, how did it all start, this?
Well, I used to teach in London until a career break about 3 years ago. And obviously I used to be on the tube quite a lot. And I just looked at the tube map on the underground train one day, and I looked up and I thought, I could do something with that. And the colours of the lines kind of reminded me of the sort of primary colours that Alfred Wainwright had used in his pictorial guides, and it kind of went from there. But until I had my career break, I couldn't do anything with it. So it was just an idea until about, a year and a bit ago. So it's gone a long way since.
So it looks a lot like a London Underground map, but how can you sort of explain how that would differ?
Well, obviously, the trigger for it all was Harry Beck, who designed the original London Underground map, which obviously everybody's probably familiar with. But obviously, in terms of doing it to the Lake District, which is roughly the same size as Greater London, as it happens, I obviously just had to realign all the lines so that they met the sort of configuration of the fells rather than the configuration of places in London. So you can use topology for any area. So, it just needed a bit of thought, and a bit of an idea became a map over a few weeks.
Now, you see, as I haven't seen this, I've just got my brain working on this for a moment, and I'm trying to work out the number of fells versus the number of stations, which came out on top.
Yeah, well, there's actually more stations, but what I did, I added some more features to the map, like Joss Naylor's cairn and things like that. So I tried to create it so that there was a kind of an overlap between the two maps, and that they kind of looked roughly, the look and the feel of the maps was very similar. So there was a lot of thought went into it before I sort of reached the final map that you see today.
Sounds brilliant. Now, it's obviously selling well. How much has it actually raised so far for Fix the Fells?
Well, it's raised 6,000 so far. I presented a cheque for £5,500 just over 2 weeks ago, actually today. And the National Trust shop in Grasmere, which has just reopened this year, is also selling 500 of them. So together we've generated £6,000 for Fix the Fells, which is really great. Well,
congratulations. That's fantastic. And what sort of work is it supporting?
Well, obviously, the many thousands and millions of footfalls on the fells of the Lake District. It causes massive problems with the upland soil, etc. And I know many people have been critical of some of the visual impact these paths create. But unless the erosion is checked, it's going to be a huge problem in the future. And as the Lake District becomes more and more popular, obviously work needs to be done on the fells, especially on the upland areas, to either preserve and at least check the erosion that's happening due to people going fell walking, like myself. I thought about it in the first instance, and I thought, I've done a lot of damage down the years running and walking and scrambling, and giving some money back from my map was just a way of me acknowledging the damage that I'd created down the years.
A really excellent idea. We've got just 15 seconds for you to tell me where people can find them.
Well, I've got a stockist list on my website, which is www.tubularfells.com. And obviously many places in the Lake District, outlets throughout the lake. So you'll find the information on the website.
Well done, Peter. Thanks ever so much for joining us. Thank you. That's Peter Burgess.